Robbinsville board meeting to order this January the 6th, 2021 at 1 p.m. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. I've got 3 items I need to add to new business. Be 6A will be Terry Stewart. 6B will be the update on the LED, the cost of the LED lights for the Long Creek water.
It's on the agenda, number 6.
Okay, I didn't see that. Well, I'll just got one then. That's 6A, Terry Stewart.
Also, after the approval of the agenda, approve one. They're easily by telephone.
Okay.
Just a motion to approve.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I second that.
Need to make a motion to approve Debbie by phone.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve Debbie by way of telephone as a county board member for a quarter.
Motion to approve.
Okay. All right. At this time, I entertain a motion to open public hearing or close the closed alleyway.
Motion to open public hearing for the closed out.
Okay, do we have any public comment on the alleyway?
What now?
Any comment on the
Any
alleyway?
comment on the alleyway?
Any comment on the alleyway? Comment on it? I
Yeah.
can do a lot of commenting on it. It's cut off on both ends, so the alleyway is non-accessible anyway. The Freeman's building is on the west side of it, the northwest side of it. And then the properties to the east of it is bordering or right on the property, so there's no way to drive vehicles up through there anyway, unless you were going to make a walking trail. It's in pretty overgrowth condition, and we've worked on it quite a bit, or I have and Bill has, so but that's my comments is that they should close it.
Did y'all receive a certified letter?
Yeah, I got one
Yeah, okay. You got anything to say in reference to it, Billy Joe?
No, I'm finished.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know, I've lived there right now 16 years, and I've noticed that place ever since I lived. It has been terrible. And coal boy, he had to cut 2 trees down to keep him from hitting his house. And one was aimed at her trailer, and every time the wind would do like this, it was rotten. So he paid somebody to cut it down. Should verify that. Had to be done. He didn't want to do it because it was on town property. And he had got word not to cut nothing on the town property. And when I moved there, I had a dog. And I had to put a fence up to keep my dog in my yard and other people's dogs in their yard. So I couldn't get my fence up to the back line for the jungle back there. The trash, the trees, the grapevines, the drawers, the dump. It was unreal if you ever looked at it. So the cowboy, I watched him. He moved all that stuff out of the way so the power company could get through there to fix the light there where there's 3 little walnut trees are. One of them is about this big round. Standing right on my line. It's right above my line. It's still on town property. Then there's 2 about that big up here that has got to come down because the power company went in there twice. Where the tree would blow over into the water. You could feel some power off the off down there.
Yeah, you can see when the.
So they got up there one time and topped them and told Floyd to cut them. But Floyd wouldn't cut them because they were on town property. And I don't blame them, I wouldn't either, until it got work. They said they had a right to do whatever they wanted to do. And now, after they topped it, just grows right back up, and one of them's touching the bottom line. And I wasn't sure to help cut them. But now, it says right here that half of the land would go to the landowners in the center of that. But as I'm speaking for myself, I don't want that land, man. I don't have no use for it. It's in that man's yard. If anybody needs that 10 foot, they do. The cowboy lives up there because he don't have no front yard. He has a backyard, and half of it belongs to the town. So I don't want nothing to do with it, okay? All I want to do is move my fence.
That's your original property.
And because I can get along with the code man, I can get along with that. It's dangerous up there. Sometimes kids get around that tree, and it's not that fire line. I'm here to fry, I'm here to kill them, and it's not worth it. I wouldn't touch that tree unless somebody got the power company to come out there and look at it and say, yeah, you're okay. And I'll say this, there's one more way to that tree. I was about one way and cut. It's either out in his yard or down through my ditch. I can move my fence because it comes apart like that. They've got to be tucked down before somebody gets killed. They have to be. They're not big trees, they're just small. The biggest one's that big. And they've already been topped once. And it's a dangerous situation up there. But I just want to say that, I don't want the property. Whatever you're going to do with it, maybe talk to them. They need a yard. They ain't got no yard. And there's so much junk down there, man. There's rats down there, Steve's biggest cats. I know I'll kill them. I'll shot them. I'll poison them. But I got rid of them. But it was bad. And then, let me tell you one more thing. When they come in on the other side of Barbara Johnson's and cleaned all that out there behind Angie's trailer, they tore my corner post stalk down on my land. I already had my fence pulled up within about a foot of it. They couldn't get in for the trees and the trash. And the lady that owns the land beside me took me up and showed me what was that. Well, I wasn't worried about it because it was a big hole right there around. Well, it's gone.
It's gone now.
Yeah, well, I know where it's at. It's right behind my post, about a foot above my post. But I couldn't get up there. But now he's got it cleaned up to where you can get up there. And I've got a string pulled across. All I got to do is cut all them evergreens down, and somebody needs to get them for walnut trees down before somebody gets killed. I'm afraid to touch them. I mean, it ain't worth it. Chill over. I have no use for that property up there. I'd be going right in his yard.
Okay, Brian, you got anything to say? Gabby, if you got anything to put in on this,
No, sir, I don't.
I'll entertain a motion, to close public hearing on the closure of that way.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Ms. Davis, with this here and one property, there's 2 property owners on this, on the face of the street. And with one property owner not wanting it, and the other one wanting it, they have to be some,
Mr. Carver can let, someone use that. I mean, we can't change what's in the statute.
right,
When a municipality closes an alley, it's 50-50. But Mr. Carver is very considerate to recognize that the person doesn't have a sufficient yard.
uh-huh,
He can let them use it, but the statute is
it's clear,
50-50. Yeah, you don't have the authority to change that.
okay,
Now, the two parties can get together
uh-huh,
and do what they want to do, but the town can't.
right, okay.
You'll just, your job would be just to decide whether to close the alley.
I'll entertain a motion, of this board, to close the said alleyway in behind Mr. Ness and, Mr. Carver's
And hot.
And
and Hyde, yeah.
at this time, I would like to make a motion to approve the closed alleyway,
I'm gonna second that, Brian.
And, do we need to notify the other property owner?
No,
No, it was in the letter, okay.
okay. All right, number 4, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the regular board meeting for December the 2nd, 2020.
Motion to approve the minutes, December 2nd, 2020.
I'll second that.
Okay, and at this time, I'll entertain a motion to open up public comment.
Oh, I make a motion to open public comment.
Second.
Is there anyone here that needs to speak out in public comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to know what's happening on Ford Street. I'm unplugging that drain across Ford Street that was filled in by a previous town employee / alderman.
Direct entrance to Colgate Trail.
Not call it the other side.
You know,
Or the
Sure.
other
the
side.
one we all look
Oh,
at, right?
Silver Trail Park.
Yeah.
Fuel Trust Park, yeah. You're talking about that, up at the upper end.
Where the big culvert area is, and
Open.
Yeah.
where it was filled in with concrete.
I thought that our boys was on jackhammer that out.
I hadn't spoke with him about it, so, I mean, that's my fault, I probably should have, I did forget.
I was under the impression that that was gonna be, and I think that was supposed to be an our boys that done that, not
Yeah,
the
it was
contractor.
ours.
It was our boys that
Yeah,
was supposed to do
I just, I
that.
forgot to follow up, that's my bad, but I will.
I'll tell you what, Chad will be back Monday. I'll have him to call you and let you know what day they'll be down there.
I don't need to be there necessarily.
Oh, okay. All right,
Well, I wouldn't mind make sure that the other end of it's clear too.
okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot that, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. And one other question is, when the sewer lines were run, new sewer lines were run across my property, I was told that the property would be put back in the condition the way it was before they dug it up. And of course, during the time frame that was done, whatever, it overgrew with weeds and brush almost. And that's never been cleared out. I was under the impression that that would be,
What
that
were
would
you
be,
talking about, that blanket goes down into your yard?
we
So
were on the big,
the last weed eating they done, they came through and weed eated that whole blanket to back. They didn't weed eat it up here where this country is, way up here next to the back of the building, but they did weed eat that, that shoreline where the, silk fencing was.
Yeah.
But the silk fencing was removed, and that was weed eaten from down far in, all the way up here to where this Mexican boy's got a garden.
I'll take another look at it, but you probably,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they weeded that down to where it was about 3.5 inches tall.
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 of them on there.
Yeah,
They worked on it.
that was late one evening, whenever they had came in from, weed eating everything else.
Okay, thanks.
I'll entertain a motion to close public comment.
Steve, I can, say
Okay,
one.
yeah,
I've got to go in on, my wife's real sick. But, I'd like to thank you, brother, for what you did down here. I asked you one time that you cleaned up the Bible scripture down here on the sign. I thank you for that, brother. I appreciate that. God expects us to put his word out. And when we let it hide and grow up in bushes, that's what's wrong with our country today. God has been pushed out of our lives. Thank you, brother. Thank you,
Just
Steve.
let us know if there's anything we can do for you, okay? Motion to close public comment.
old business, town hall mold issue. I spoke with Chad, and he said they will, clean out the basement starting next week and arrange the records for Sonia to go through.
She
They don't, what Chad's ideal is, he'll be able to, back either the dump truck or the garbage truck up from, the tire shop up that way, and that way they can come straight out of that, door, right straight into either the dump truck or the garbage truck.
Just have him coordinate that with Sonia, so.
Okay. Also, that hose has been patched that went out to where the chimney was, and the dehumidifiers, they don't have to be a shelf built up to get them up to where they can drain to the outside up above the ground level. And then the O2 wizard can come in.
Uh-huh.
I think we would say for the record that none of the records will be thrown out, of course.
Well, no,
Well,
they just don't get everything
No, that
situated.
been cataloged and recorded, and according to the state,
But they'll be filed,
yeah, properly destroyed.
probably.
All right, next.
It's tax release of personal property,
And you if you-
of Christine Priest,
Yeah.
deceased.
But Tucker had talked to the property appraiser about Christine's, and the way I understand it, there was some years that they needed to add back in, and they did. And now that mobile home has been destroyed, and so it's been cleaned up decent accordingly. It's been, those years were either now billed and or released. It was destroyed, I think in 2008. But that's been taken care of probably.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Moving right along. Old Town Hall lease. Have you got an update from Miss Benton?
No, I have not heard from her. She said it would be in January before she could get back because they had a damage to their home, one of their vehicles where they
So,
waited.
at this time, we can remain on the table.
Alright. Long Creek survey quote, Terry, I talked to him, 2 weeks ago, and he's not got back with me. He was, one of his proposals is to go ahead and flag all the valves and everything that's inside the fence area there, whether it be on the Collin property, whether it be on the Forest Service property, or whether it be on the town property, because we got 3 different property owners that's in, inside that chain link fence.
So he's still working on that.
He's not got me the price of what's going on, but he said anytime, he said the best time to do it has been from October, the last of October, up through March. So I think we just need to go ahead and put that off in February. It's gonna be all right with the board.
Okay, I'll make a motion with, under item number 4, old business, remain on the table.
I second.
And also the town hall lease is February too.
Yeah, this table as well.
Okay, the drainage issue update on colleges has, the weather has not been formidable from what, for him to have done, any digging or whatever.
Yeah, he stated last time that he didn't want to do anything there until he got the plans from the.
And McGill has not got the drawing, schematics or anything on that yet. They're waiting to see if they, the money is, appropriate.
They won't be doing no drawings until,
Right.
the grant is, moving along. So you follow up with Bo or?
Yeah.
And let him know? Okay.
He's in Charlotte right now.
Ready?
Table.
Okay. Any further old business? Okay, new business on the mayor update. The North Carolina DOT, did they email that to you? It was, some documentation that whenever they do the quarter K, I guess it would be, coming into town here in the corporate limits, there's gonna be a widening, some of it here in town on the bypass down here. And, there's gonna have to be some sewer lines and water lines relocated. And this paperwork states that the town of Robbinsville can do it, or town of Robbinsville can, entertain, or put it out for bid for a contractor of their choosing to do the work, or there's a slot there that the town of Robbinsville and the board can sign that the Department of Transportation will do said work in order to get it out of the road. We do have a 12-inch line that comes up through there. It's about 3 foot on the northbound lane, about 3 foot out in the road there. Down probably past, the old Texaco station. So,
What's their timeline?
it'll be next year sometime. But you know how DOT is with their paperwork, they want to be 3 or 4 months ahead of time or a year ahead of time.
Yeah, I'd like to see, before we make that decision, that paperwork.
Yeah, I've not received it because I was on all my emails this morning and I hadn't seen it.
I didn't know quarter day was gonna be in our lifetime. Seriously.
Okay.
Okay, at this time, finance update.
Okay, the first thing I wanted to mention is that January 1st has expired as of 12/31/2020. As of this time right now, so if our employees are out with COVID, they would use their comp, and then they're sick, and then their vacation like usual. So hopefully that will change later, but as of right now, I just wanted to update the board. I gave you a summary of the virtual finance director conference that I did on December 8th and 9th. A couple of key points that they talked about. One is that there is water efficiency programs out there, and I just hope that we can get a hold of someone who wants to write a grant so we can get that wireless meter system, because they definitely discussed that. A lot of people say that it's been very useful with water efficiency, with customers. It's just going to save the town money if we can get a grant to pay for that. They also said that a lot of people now are using flow reducers instead of shutting off the water. Then people don't have to go cold with no water. Without just shutting off. They just reduce the flow of the water until the person can get in and get the water turned back on. They told us that the retirement rate will increase in 2021 and 2022 from 10.30% as it is now up to 11.35%, which is something we'll adjust for in our next budget. And they had to explain to us about how the finance directors will have yet another COVID report to report February 15th. Okay, so before I tell you about your budget versus actual, I'll tell you that the December tax collection was good. Well, in January, we'll be receiving $87,885. That puts our collections up to 65%. And of course, those first few days of January, we should have even more because utilities was not included in that number. So I'm very happy still with collections with taxes. So if we look at our budget versus actual, on December 31st, 2020, the general fund is in a negative $8,697. But I feel like when I come back here at the end of January, I'll be able to say, now we're back on target because we're receiving those tax collections. We are at 47% of our revenue in the general fund, and we're right now in halfway through the year. So 6 months in the year, we should be around 50% for anything unless it's we had a big change. For a water and sewer, we have brought in $131,198.50 more than we've spent. We've done very good in our water and sewer. I pointed out to you a detail, and so I think it's good to, if you wanted to review that, or if you have any questions for me, so we can see where we're at with our budget and the detail. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Tony.
Credit card fee.
Okay, so when COVID started, we stopped charging our customers in-house credit card fees. But we do charge credit card fees when they have to pay online. And a lot of my customers have recognized that. And they say, instead of paying online, I'm just going to pay over the phone or in support because I can save that fee. So we need to do either both or none. on both sides, eat the cost on both sides or charge the customer on both sides. But customer can pay $1.50 for EFT online, or they can pay $3.95 if it's credit card. So I would recommend that we start as of tomorrow charging, $4 flat fee in-house. That way, because we're trying to encourage that online payment, that's way we can get more customers paying, so we can get it through that integrated. If we don't encourage it, it's a rough time, so I wanted the board to know the situation. Either do nothing on both sides or do something.
Was the fees that we had, excused, are we able to recoup what we didn't charge?
Not yet, the state has not approved that any lost revenue for municipalities will be reimbursed yet. Hopefully it will.
Yeah.
What was our rate before?
3%, so we would take the, with the online payment, it is a flat fee.
Yes, it was
With the bank,
$3.95.
it is a percentage, and so we have to an average of what different credit card companies would charge us, and we went with 3%.
What do you think about that, Debbie?
Davey?
I had my phone on mute. What she's really saying is she's going to charge a flat fee for the credit card one and over the telephone.
Well, the credit card, you pay online, it's a flat fee of $3.95. But as of right now, we're not charging any fees to use a credit card or anything in-house. Since March.
Since the end of March.
Since the end of March. And a lot of people are paying in-house because we don't have a fee, but we're trying to get more people to use the online billing. Because there's a flat rate of $3.95 if you pay online.
Yeah. I mean, me, myself, personally, whenever they charge me a fee like that, I don't do it. So I guess it was, we got to consider if it's easier for the customer and for us. If it's going to be something that they're not going to be willing to pay, it's going to be pointless to even have it. Can we change that at any time? Can we see how it's going and then just change it?
Like the direct pay with credit card in-house?
Yeah.
We can. I mean, we can change it now and then change it. Whatever, we can change the fee rate anytime we need to.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Can we change that fee rate at any time?
Or we can change it back to the same what we had before, which was 3% of the deal.
Yeah.
Or we can contact credit card, the online billing and say the town's gonna eat those fees as a cost of billing. What I hate, cost of, doing business. What I hate to do is eventually the more cost we have, the more our water will be. And so that's why we want to, it is a convenience fee for people. Because we take checks and cash for free.
I'm going to make a motion that we go back to how that it was. What was it, 3%?
Okay. I'll second that. All right.
Okay. The business shut-off policy.
Are they not the same policy as residential?
And so we have the same policy for business and residential, but we have two different rates for business and residential, which is allowed. So my suggestion is that, we're allowing customers to be 2 months past due, and then we will shut off. Well, we're doing the same thing for our residents that we are for our businesses. And what has happened is sometimes when a business closes, we have to eat that. You know, if a business can't, what I would recommend is a business only has 30 days. 30 days. And then if they're past due, we shut off after that 30 days. 30 days past due, you know, 1 month later.
1 month late instead of 2. And I think we
They're not
can,
required to give their social security number, so we can't send their, writing them to collections. So we don't have the same chances of getting that money back with a business as we do with a customer. And the businesses can run $2,000 a month, you know, and so we're giving them $150 deposit, just like the customer, the residential, and we can't recoup, you know, 3 months, that's $9,000, and then you've only got 150 of it that you can get back. It's just a recommendation, it's nothing that has to be changed today, it's to help the town recoup quicker.
what do you think, Debbie?
Maybe we should up the amount that they have to pay up front.
The deposit on businesses?
Deposit.
The reason, you see, some businesses that might just cost them $60 a month, where others might be $3,000. So we did discuss one time about increasing the deposit. But if we referred a business who, let's say just an office, and it's gonna be $60 a month, and we require them to give a $500 deposit, wouldn't quite be fair, you know, so that's another option though. And also I believe would be justified, the deposit. Makes it harder for a small business to open.
A little mom and pop place versus a beauty salon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I think we should talk about it more.
Okay.
So, at this time, I'd like to see it on the table till next month.
I second that because, you know, you just give them a 30-day thing and if they are running into hard times too, just like an individual, you know, 2 months is easier for them to kind of come up with that instead of just a 30-day situation.
Yeah, because we got some businesses that are running in between $800 and $1,000 a month water bill.
Alright, so we'll leave that in table till next month with further discussion.
Okay. The next one is additional leak credit request for Mr. Larry Wilson. He's out here on Milltown Road. He has had 2 leak credits in the last calendar year. And he has had a October high bill of $239.85, and he finally had a leak somewhere between the meter and the concrete pad in the basement. Tried to put a well in, but unable to get enough water. Had Lynn Hooper to install a brand new line. He's wanting to know if we could go ahead, since he has totally replaced all the way under the pad, or he dodged the pad this time, come in snugly in the house. And it went in and replumbed inside the house also. He's wanting to know if the town would okay for this giving a credit on this October billing.
So he for sure think he's got the thing figured out, and
He put a well on the.
Yes.
we tried to, yeah.
There wasn't enough water to get it. Okay. But the leak has
I mean, since then, since he's got the new line in, or is it cut off?
they're reading it right now.
I wonder how the numbers if we're back to normal or
Is
not.
Sherry out there? Ask her if she can get a hold of, Bailey. I think Bailey is the one that read that, or JR1. See what Mr. Larry Wilson's, usage was this month.
Okay.
And we'll come back to that one.
And we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Alright,
Alright, next up, the, last month I spoke with y'all in reference to the replacing of the standard lights up there and or ballasts or whatever. We was gonna have to replace all 8 lights along with the ballasts, in which that was gonna run an average of about $900. I mean, $90 a light. About $90. Since then, I have checked with A4 Home Center, and I can get 6 LED 8-foot 2-bulb lights, 5,300 lumens per light, for $110 a piece. And just had to buy 6 of them instead of 8.
because the main reason why those are going out is because of the moisture in the plant.
Mhm.
Will these be better?
Well, they be the same thing. You got the open pins on both ends.
And that moisture gets in there and it kind of corrodes and ruins them basically.
Mm-hmm. But now, the fans that we purchased, 2 years ago,
Something like that, yeah.
year and a half ago, has really knocked them, I'd say 65-70% of the moisture down in there.
So what's
But
the
anytime
total
you got
cost?
running water, you don't have moisture.
What's the total cost to replace those with LED lights?
LEDs, $110 per light.
So basically, it's under $700.
Yeah,
per
well,
light.
about
Then you have to have
$700.
them installed.
Yeah. That's $7,200 for $80 if you had the go with the bulb and balance.
I mean, they gotta have light up there. I haven't been up there in a while, but
Hey, it's plumb pitch black at night up there.
they need lights, so I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve to buy the LED lights
Hey, boy.
at A4. And can our guys install those, or we have to have somebody come and install them?
Probably be Harvey because dealing with electricity now, and we don't have an electrician on the,
Okay.
we got some gadgets.
If you could get a rough estimate about how much you would charge
Okay.
to install it.
I'll get 2 there. I'll get one from,
Eleven.
Harvey and one from, Saudi.
Sawyer's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna second that, Brian, and I would like to see the different quotes from the,
From the
On the installation.
installation.
Okay. Alright. I'll have that package. Well, will that be okay to drop you all off a copy of what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. Alright, number 6A, Miss Carrie Stewart, I thought she was gonna be here, but she's not. She got a wonderful reason for her head to be swelled a little bit and her shoulders thrown back. The Long Creek Water Plant, got their 3rd year in a row AWOP award. They went, but I think 58 water plants in the state of North Carolina that got it this year, and Robbinsville got their 3rd one in a row. They've got about 8 or 9 AWOP awards. This is the first time they went 3 in a row. And this AWOP, that's having the lowest, below state recommendation your turbidity in your water. That deals with chlorines and whatever additives you have to put into the water or whatever. And this here is a big attaboy to our water plant operator.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Carrie and our staff up there, we wouldn't be able to receive such a.
No, big time.
So, I want to thank them for their hard work for the town receiving that award for the third year straight.
Okay. Alright. At this time, is there any further new business? Oh, yeah, that's right.
She's working on it.
Okay, well, we can visit that after we come out of closed.
Okay, yeah. Is there any other new business?